I'm here with my client, Denna. And Denna, I'm so glad you're here to talk a little bit about your experience. So thanks for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is exciting. So basically, I looked it up in my messages earlier and I contacted you on June 18th. And that was literally right after I got home from my wedding and honeymoon. We were gone for 2 weeks, destination, and then traveled some. But I don't remember what video I was watching on your Facebook, but it just, something about that video got me. And I've been following you for a while. And I was feeling empty, I guess, and just kind of stuck in my business. And I was super overwhelmed as a new wife and a new stepmom. I'm going to get emotional,
Okay.
but I was so overwhelmed, just like pressure I put on myself and the, like, I guess, pressure of society. And I always thought that I was stronger than that, but I knew at that point that I wasn't. And I'd always admired you for the last couple of years that I've known you and followed you on social media. And I was watching one of your videos. I wish I could remember what your video was about, but something in that video made me shoot you a message. And I'm like, this is it. Like, this is it. Like, I need a change. I need a change, and I need someone to help me make that change. And you are my girl.
That's fantastic. Yeah, it's just been such an awesome journey working together. I will talk a little bit about what's changed for you and transformed over the last few months. But first, can you let everybody know a little bit about your background or yourself, what kind of business you have and all of that?
Sure. I'm in the beauty industry. I have a direct sales business. I actually just celebrated my 3-year anniversary on Saturday. So I started that when I was very much in a slump. My corporate job sucked and I was super unhappy. And I really started it to make a little extra money. And from there, I realized like what I was capable of and that there was more than just corporate America and being grossly underpaid and underappreciated. So after a year of being with my company, I was able to leave that sucky corporate job and pursue my career with my direct sales business. I'm sorry, it says my internet connection is unstable. Can you hear me? Is this everything okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So I left my corporate job after a year. My business was booming. I had women all over the US. I was traveling. 2017 was just a huge year, and not just for me, but for plenty of women in my business. And probably about a year ago is when I really kind of started struggling. And so I went to see a therapist to help with life and these overwhelmed feelings and emotions, just with life and all the changes that have been going on. But that helped, but I still really felt like something was missing. My business it's slowed down some, which is normal. My personal business, I sell myself, and then I have this huge team of women that sell our product. And I think it was maybe the self-worth I was lacking. And really it was just all made up in my head. I feel like I was in my own head and I didn't know how to get out of that mindset on my own.
Yeah, absolutely. So what was it like so have you ever invested in a coach before?
No,
So
absolutely not.
what was that like? Because it's many people watching this, maybe they're in a similar situation. They know they need some outside help, but
Yes.
they've never hired a coach before. So what was it like to hire a coach and make that financial investment as well?
It was, so honestly, I didn't understand what a coach was. I mean, I was going to therapy. I love therapy, huge advocate. And I didn't really understand. And I'd never really looked into it because really I didn't understand it. But I knew that I was just drawn to you and your videos and hearing you speak and what you had to talk about. Like, I agreed with the majority of what you had to say. And it was really inspiring. And then just seeing your life play out, like your career changes and businesses. I was like, man, like this girl knows what she's doing. And there was just something that clicked with me watching your videos. I'm like, look at what she's doing. Like, that's awesome. Like, if she can do that with her own life, I need her to help me with mine. And the investment was scary, but I knew that I was worth it and that my well-being and my family, honestly, was worth it. Like, you couldn't really put a price on it. And that's another thing that you taught me over the last couple of months was like how to get control of my budget. And I realized like I was just blowing and going, like this investment is nothing when it comes to my well-being and my business. My business is booming. Like, it's been better than ever. And my family, my personal life, like, it's really good. It's been a really, really good change. And I really don't think you can put a price on your own personal well-being.
That is so true. And I think a lot of people watching this, they might be a parent like you,
Mm-hmm.
and they feel like they have a business or maybe a side hustle, and they feel like they're being pulled in so many different directions, and their money is pulled in so many different directions.
Right.
So it can be tempting to think, oh, I can think of so many other places where I could spend this money, like a vacation for the kids or, like this or that. But do you feel like this has impacted your family as well? You mentioned that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm probably easier to be around. My business, my team, it's not just me. Like, it's affected everyone, the people that I live with, my family, and the women that I'm surrounded by every day. It's really changed every aspect of my life. And some of the things that changed in me, I didn't even realize needed needed that attention. But it's like I'm just a more well-rounded individual as a wife, a mother, a business owner, a sister, just all around a better person.
This is just like so awesome to hear. I'm so glad. What would you say is, uh, you know, what are the results? You've actually already talked a lot about that, but what would you say is your favorite transformation or the biggest transformation from us working together?
I would definitely say my mindset. Like, I'm a huge advocate of self love and personal development, but I was battling that myself. And I think having an outside influence other than your family, the last thing like my sister on my case or whomever, like having someone that doesn't, I mean, you have nothing to gain from how I am as an individual, I guess. And you were so passionate about helping me become the person I wanted to be and make those changes. I can read about it all day long, but if I'm not making those changes, then it doesn't mean anything. And you definitely, you helped me do that. Like, I won't say never, but it would have been probably a really long time before I made those changes on my own.
Absolutely. Let's see. I'm going to revisit my list here. Okay. So, what advice would you give someone? So, imagine the person who's watching this. Maybe they've been following me for a while, or maybe they haven't, but they're feeling compelled, and that's why they're watching this video to commit
Mhm.
to, my coaching program. What would you tell them, especially if they've never invested before in a coach?
I would tell them that if you're watching this video, it's for a reason. Like, you know that you need this and you're not here by accident, and you're absolutely worth the investment. Like, you really can't put a price on your own, like yourself. And if you're watching this, then I mean, you're here for a reason.
Absolutely. One question I almost forgot to ask you
Sure.
is, so you know that my program is mostly to help people be able to quit their job and pursue their passion. You are past that point. You already have quit your job and you're pursuing your passion.
Hmm.
So how did you know this program was for you? And how were you confident that it could help you in that case?
Sure. So about the time that I contacted you, I was terrified that I would have to go back to a 9 to 5 punching time clocks. Um, Really, that scared me enough to know that things had to change. Like that was probably the biggest factor. I was terrified that I would have to go back to that, and I knew that I would that would that wouldn't help me in the rut that I was in if I had to go back to that. I just remembered how miserable I was at my previous job and knew that I could never ever go back to that life.
Wow, I guess I never had asked you that explicitly.
Yeah.
I knew I
Yeah.
could help you, and I knew that the things that we talked about were super applicable to your life, but I didn't
Hmm.
realize that you felt it was that dire in your
I
business.
I really did. I was really nervous, and the last couple of months personally have been huge business wise, and the last month, but I've been working my butt off again. Like I found you helped reignite the fire in myself and my business that was lacking. And it honestly had been lacking for a little while. I was just able, it was still going, but I knew that I had to change if I wanted my business to change. And it definitely helped me. And being scared enough to think I would have to go punch a time clock again was definitely motivation to take that step.
Do you feel like coaching was a part of what made the last 2 months your biggest months of?
Oh yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. I have found my confidence again and just the passion and the knowing that I can do it. I just have to do it. Like I have to be um, um, intentional with my time. Like I have to do it and I know I can do it. I needed that boost again. I had really kind of lost myself over the past year.
And now things have turned around quite a lot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I am just so glad to hear this. Well,
Yeah.
is there anything else you want to share that we haven't talked about yet that you might want to share to viewers?
I don't think so. Really just don't don't give up on yourself. Like there's so much more to this life, and I mean we're all here for a greater purpose than just to be here, and invest in yourself, and you can do anything that you put your mind to, really.
Girl, you're giving me goosebumps here. Awesome. Yes, there is more to life. So
Hmm.
thank you so much for
Thank you. Thank
it.
you.
It has just been so awesome. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what you do next.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for everything you've done for me, really.
Oh, my pleasure.